is your greatest weapon, but most people walk through life never learning how to use it. They keep it dull, soft, and lazy, waiting for motivation to strike instead of sharpening it through discipline. You can have all the talent in the world, all the resources, all the support, but if your mind isn't strong, you'll fold the moment things get hard. Life is not a playground, it's a battlefield. Every single day you wake up, you're at war with comfort, with fear, with weakness, with doubt. And if you don't train your mind for that fight, you lose by default. People love to talk about physical strength, but mental strength, that's the real edge. The body will always follow the mind. When the mind quits, everything else falls apart. But when the mind is unbreakable, the body finds a way. You can be exhausted, bleeding, cold, broken. But if your mind says, we're not done, then you're not done. That's why you have to train your mind every day like it's a muscle. You have to make it earn its strength through repetition, pain, and focus. When you wake up in the morning, your mind will already try to talk you out of greatness. It'll whisper, stay in bed. You deserve a break. You worked hard yesterday. That's the voice of weakness. That's the enemy within. The mind will always choose the path of least resistance. That's human nature. But you don't grow on easy paths. You grow in friction and pressure in the fire. Every day you resist that inner voice of comfort, you sharpen the blade. You make the mind just a little bit tougher, a little more disciplined, a little more unstoppable. People think mindset is something you just, like it's built into your DNA. No, mindset is a skill. It's forged in repetition, molded through suffering, and carved by commitment. You don't get a strong mind from reading motivational quotes. You get it by doing what most people won't, by pushing when everything in you wants to stop. Every time you choose the hard path, you're sharpening the edge. You're saying to yourself, I'm not like everyone else. I don't quit when it hurts. I keep going. The problem is that most people live like victims of their thoughts. They let their minds run wild, controlling them instead of being controlled. You have to learn to take command of your thoughts like a warrior handles a blade, with discipline, precision, and respect. If you don't, that same blade will turn against you. The mind can build you or destroy you depending on who's holding it. You can use your mind to find strength in pain, or you can use it to justify why you're weak. The choice is always yours. Sharpening the mind means facing your excuses and destroying them one by one. It means calling yourself out on your own lies. You say you're tired. Good. Push anyway. You say you're not ready. Perfect. Start anyway. You say it's too hard. Then that's exactly where you need to be. The mind loves to protect you from discomfort, but comfort is the slowest poison. It'll keep you alive but never let you live. To grow, you have to step into the pain. You have to learn to love the grind because that's where the weapon is forged. When you look at high performers, elite soldiers, athletes, and warriors, it's not that they enjoy suffering. It's that they've trained themselves to operate inside it. They've built a mind that doesn't panic when things go wrong. They've conditioned themselves to see pain as progress. Every repetition of discomfort is another strike on the grindstone. That's why you can't take days off from sharpening your mind. The moment you stop training it, rust begins to form. And once the rust sets in, it spreads fast. You can't fake mental toughness. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, you can build it. But it's going to hurt. There's no shortcut. There's no secret hack. You build it through daily struggle, through discipline, through confronting your fears head on. You have to go into the places that make you uncomfortable and stay there until you adapt. Because once your mind adapts, nothing external can break you. The storm outside can rage all at once. But if your foundation is solid, you remain unmoved. The difference between someone who achieves greatness and someone who settles for average isn't talent. It's mental conditioning. It's the willingness to show up on days you don't feel like it. It's the ability to focus when you're exhausted, to stay calm under chaos, to keep pushing when everyone else has quit. That kind of mindset doesn't come easy. But once you have it, it becomes your greatest weapon in life. Because when everyone else folds under pressure, you rise. When everyone else looks for excuses, you find a way. Mental toughness is not about pretending you're not tired or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging the pain, then doing what needs to be done anyway. It's about looking fear in the face and saying, you don't own me. Every time you push through, your mind rewires itself. It learns that it's capable of more than it thought. That's why discomfort is your best teacher. It exposes your limits and it gives you the opportunity to expand them. The mind must be challenged daily, not occasionally. You don't sharpen a blade once and expect it to stay sharp forever. The grind is constant. Every day is another battle, another chance to reinforce your edge. That's why routine is powerful. Discipline keeps you from becoming soft. The small, consistent habits, waking up early, training when it's hard, reading when you'd rather scroll. These are the daily strikes that keep your mind on. Each small victory compounds until your mind becomes unstoppable. When you stop chasing comfort and start chasing growth, you begin to see who you really are. Most people never meet their true self because they never push far to reveal it. You don't find strength in luxury, you find it in struggle. The mind becomes dangerous when it's trained to remain calm under chaos, to see opportunity in adversity, and to find peace in pressure. That's the kind of weapon no one can take from you. The mind is like steel. It only becomes strong when it's put through fire. You can't baby your mind and expect it to harden. Every time you choose the easy way out, you dull the blade. Every time you quit because it hurts, you weaken the foundation. You think the pain is the enemy, but pain is the process. Pain is the tool that shapes you. Pain is the truth teller that exposes what's real and what's fake inside you. When you avoid it, you avoid growth. When you face it, you earn power that no one can give or take away. Most people live their entire lives running from pain, chasing comfort, building walls around their fears. But warriors do the opposite. They run toward pain because they know it's the only way to sharpen the weapon that matters most, the mind. Pain reveals who you are when the mask drops, when there's no crowd, no applause, no easy exit. That's when you see your truth. And if you can look at that truth without running, without excuses, without blame, you've already won half the battle, because most people can't even face themselves. Mental strength is not about never feeling weak. It's about what you do when you feel weak. Everybody gets tired. Everybody hits walls. But not everybody keeps moving when they hit them. The difference between those who evolve and those who stay stuck is simple. One keeps going. When your mind says stop, that's when the real work begins. That's when you meet the version of yourself that lives beyond your excuses. That's when you step into the zone where growth happens. The uncomfortable, lonely, brutal zone where winners are made. Every day is a chance to train that mindset. Every inconvenience is a test. The traffic that frustrates you, the workout you don't want to do, the criticism that stings. These are opportunities to sharpen your weapon. Every time you respond with patience, focus, and control, you strengthen your inner armor. Every time you lose control, you dull the edge. The smallest daily choices are what determine the sharpness of your mind. It's not about one big event. It's about the repetition of toughness over time. You can't rely on emotion to carry you. Motivation fades. Inspiration disappears. What's left is discipline. That quiet, consistent voice that says, do it anyway. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares about who you're becoming. The mind thrives under discipline because it learns to focus under pressure. It stops being a slave to moods and starts becoming a weapon of choice. That's why the most dangerous people are the calmest. They've trained their minds not to react to chaos, but to control it. When you start sharpening your mind daily, you begin to realize how much of life is mental. The body follows orders, but the mind gives them. The difference between finishing and quitting, between growth and stagnation, between greatness and mediocrity, it's all mental. You could take two people with the same ability, same resources, same opportunities. The one with the stronger mind will win every single time. Because while one sees an obstacle, the other sees an opportunity. While one says, this is too much, the other says, let's go. The truth is, your mind becomes whatever you feed it. Feed it weakness, it becomes soft. Feed it excuses, it becomes lazy. Feed it challenge, it becomes strong. You can't build a sharp mind on a diet of comfort and distraction. That's why you must protect what enters your head. Watch the thoughts you entertain, the people you listen to, the words you repeat. Your environment shapes your focus, and focus shapes your reality. If you want to sharpen your weapon, stay away from people who dull it with negativity, laziness, and self-pity. You must build mental armor, not the kind that shuts you off from emotion, but the kind that keeps you stable in chaos. You build it by putting yourself in situations that test your patience, your courage, your control. You learn to find calm in chaos, clarity in confusion, purpose in pain. You train your mind to stay locked in when others lose it. That's why suffering is not the enemy. It's the training ground. Every challenge is a rep. Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is a sharpening stone. When you look at your life and see struggle after struggle, don't curse it. Respect it. The grind is shaping your edge. Every time you think, why is this happening to me? Change it to, what is this teaching me? That's how warriors think. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Every scar on your mind is proof that you didn't quit. Every failure you've endured is a notch in your blade. The sharper the weapon, the more resistance it can cut through. And that resistance is the point. The mind doesn't grow in peace, it grows in chaos. You become strong by walking through storms, not avoiding them. You learn to find your rhythm in the noise, to breathe when everything screams for panic. You learn to focus when distractions pull at you from every angle. That's how you forge mental resilience, not by escaping difficulty, but by standing tall inside it. Most people will crumble under pressure because they never built that foundation. But if you train your mind daily, pressure becomes fuel. When you hit that wall, when your lungs burn, when your thoughts scream to stop, that's the moment you decide who's in control. Either the mind controls you or you control the mind. You can either surrender to the voice of comfort or command it to be silent. Every time you push past that point, you're carving a new identity. the identity of someone who doesn't back down. The mind remembers every battle you win, and those victories build a new standard inside you. You start expecting more from yourself because you've proven that you're capable of more. The people who achieve mastery in life aren't necessarily the most talented, they're the most consistent. They wake up every day and sharpen the blade. They push when no one's watching. They stay focused when others drift. They choose pain over ease, growth over comfort, progress over pride, because they know that if they stop training the mind, it starts to decay. The moment you think you're tough enough, life will remind you that you're not. You never arrive. The sharpening never ends. ChatGPT said the real war isn't out there. It's inside your head. The battlefield isn't the gym, the track, or the office. It's between your ears. Every day, your mind is either training you or tricking you. It's either pushing you forward or pulling you down. That's why most people lose before they even start. They talk about goals, dreams, discipline, but the moment it gets uncomfortable, they fold. They don't realize they're at war with the part of themselves that loves comfort. That voice is sneaky. It whispers, "You've done enough. You deserve rest. Tomorrow will be better." But that voice is the reason tomorrow looks just like yesterday. If you want to sharpen your mind, you've got to hunt that voice down and kill it. You've got to expose it in every excuse, every hesitation, every lazy thought that tries to convince you to quit. The moment you feel that resistance, that's the sign. That's where the growth is hiding. You can't hide from resistance. You chase it. That's how you sharpen the blade. You put yourself in uncomfortable situations on purpose because that's where the edges form. You run when your legs are screaming. You study when your brain is tired. You keep going when every fiber of your being says stop. That's what separates the few from the many. Most people never experience what's on the other side of exhaustion. They quit right before the transformation. They never find out how much power is sitting inside them, waiting to be unlocked. Your mind is deeper than you think, but you'll never reach that depth by staying on the surface. You've got to dive into the darkness. You've got to confront the fears, the failures, the memories that hold you back. That's where your true strength lives, buried under layers of excuses and doubt. When you sharpen your mind daily, you stop fearing pain because you start respecting it. You start seeing pain as feedback, as data, as growth. Every time life hits you, you ask, what can I learn? Instead of, why me? You stop reacting emotionally to everything that happens and start responding with control. That's mental maturity. That's when the weapon becomes dangerous, not because it's loud, but because it's precise. A sharp mind doesn't swing wildly, it cuts cleanly. People talk about balance, comfort, and rest like they're the goals of life. But comfort is the death of greatness. You weren't made to stay soft. You were built to evolve, to adapt, to struggle, and to rise. That's what keeps you alive. That's what builds the kind of mental endurance that can carry you through anything. You don't find that in easy days. You find it in the days that break everyone else. When everyone else quits, you keep grinding. That's how the blade gets sharper, through friction. It's not enough to talk about mindset. You've got to live it. You've got to wake up every morning and test it. Every task, every interaction, every challenge is a chance to prove your edge. You don't get strong from motivation, you get strong from repetition. You sharpen the weapon every single day, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. That's when the mind learns who's in charge. The moment you choose to act despite emotion, you reclaim control. The truth is, your mind is the most powerful weapon you'll ever have, but it's also the most dangerous one if left unchecked. An untrained mind will destroy you from within. It will make mountains out of pebbles, fears out of shadows, and failures out of lessons. It will convince you you're not enough. But when you train it, it becomes a tool for greatness. It starts seeing every obstacle as fuel, every setback as a setup. Every loss is preparation for the next win. That's the shift. That's when you stop surviving and start conquering. The sharpening process doesn't stop when you succeed. That's when it gets harder. Success makes you comfortable. Comfort makes you soft. You've got to stay dangerous even when you're winning. You've got to find new ways to test yourself, new goals that scare you, new challenges that force you to dig deeper. The blade gets dull when it's not used, and the mind is the same. If you're not sharpening it, you're losing it. You have to become obsessed with growth, obsessed with finding your limits and then breaking them. You've got to live like there's no finish line. Every day you ask yourself, did I get sharper today? Because if the answer is no, you're slipping. You're either progressing or regressing. There's no neutral. The world doesn't care about what you could have been. It only respects what you built. So build a mind that doesn't flinch, doesn't quit, doesn't bend under pressure. That's what being dangerous really means. Not violence, not anger, but control. Control over your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Control over the chaos inside you. That's the kind of power no one can take away. When your mind is sharp, the world can't break you. It can only shape you. The pain becomes a forge, the failure becomes a lesson, and life becomes your training ground. When your mind becomes your weapon, nothing can stop you. You stop being a victim of life and start being a master of it. The storms still come, the pain still hits, but instead of falling apart, you lean in. You let the chaos sharpen you. You start to crave challenges because you know that every hardship is a chance to build something stronger inside you. That's when life shifts. That's when you stop fearing the unknown, because you know whatever's waiting on the other side. You can handle it. You've already been through worse. You've already walked through fire and come out harder, smarter, and sharper than before. But sharpening your mind isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily grind. It's the decision you make every single morning when you wake up and the world feels heavy. It's in the moment you look at your goals and think, not today. That's when the battle begins. The war is never about the weights, the miles, or the hours. It's always about the voice in your head trying to negotiate with your potential. It's the same voice that tells you to take it easy, to skip the pain, to stay comfortable. You have to crush that voice every day because it's lying to you. It wants you safe, not strong. The sharpest minds come from the hardest lives. You don't get mental toughness from an easy path. You get it from failure, rejection, and suffering. Every scar you've earned is proof that you survived something most people couldn't handle. That's your resume of resilience. The moments that broke you also built you, but only if you had the courage to keep going when everything inside you screamed to stop. That's where true power is born, in the decision to fight one more round when you've already lost count of how many times you've fallen. Sharpening your mind means embracing the grind with no reward, no applause, and no guarantees. You show up because it's who you are, not because you're promised an outcome. That's discipline. That's self-mastery. You stop chasing results and start chasing character. You start measuring success not by what you achieve, but by how much harder you can push when nobody's watching. The world celebrates outcomes, but real warriors celebrate consistency. Every time you face fear and act anyway, your mind gets sharper. Every time you're tired, but you keep moving, the blade gets cleaner. Every time you want to quit, but you don't, you build a weapon that nothing can dull. You're not just training for today, you're training for every future battle life throws your way, because make no mistake, life will test you. It'll test your patience, your endurance, your belief in yourself. It'll strip away your comfort, your confidence, and your pride. But if your mind is sharp, you'll cut through every challenge that comes at you. There will be days when you feel broken, when your motivation dies, and your body begs you to stop. That's when the weapon matters most. That's when you draw from every hard day, every lonely night, every painful lesson you've ever learned. That's when you remember who you've become through all the suffering, someone unbreakable. You don't run from the fire, you walk into it. You don't pray for an easier life, you pray for a stronger mind. Because a sharp mind can survive any hell and still keep moving forward. The truth is, sharpening your mind never ends. It's not about reaching perfection, it's about refusing to go dull. Every day, you fight the rust of complacency. You test your limits, question your excuses, and hold yourself to a higher standard than anyone else. That's what separates warriors from the world. Most people wait for motivation. You operate on commitment. Most people stop when it hurts, you thrive there. Most people dream, you do. The mind is your greatest weapon, but it's also your greatest responsibility. Don't waste it on weakness. Don't fill it with doubt, distraction, or excuses. Train it, feed it, and use it to carve your purpose into reality. You don't get a sharp mind by wishing for one. You earn it in sweat, in silence, and in struggle. Every day you grind, you build a weapon that no one can take from you. So sharpen your mind daily. Not once a week, not when you feel like it. Every single day. Sharpen it when you're tired. Sharpen it when you're discouraged. Sharpen it when you're already winning, because that's when most people stop. Stay dangerous, stay focused, and stay ready. Because when life comes for you, and it will, you'll be prepared. You'll look it dead in the eye and say, you picked the wrong one. That's what it means to live with a sharpened mind. You become unstoppable, unbreakable, undeniable. The pain no longer controls you, you control it. The fear no longer limits you, it fuels you. Every moment, every struggle, every victory becomes another strike of the blade. And when it's all said and done, you won't just have survived, you'll have forged a mind so sharp it can cut through anything this world throws your way.